Alright guys, now after looking at the initial other, updates about the new version of the game, let's go over the battle part, which is very packed. The battle part is extremely packed. So as you can see, click on battle details. So first of all, we have hybrid rebalancing. This update, map balances meta score, super hybrids, scoring the So basically what this means is that some hybrids that are harder to make are going to get better, and the easier to make hybrids are not so much. That's what they say, but I don't really find that to be the case when we look later down in the actual attribute changes. So then next we have attribute relocation. Speed value of every creature has been accounted for in the game's balancing. For most, if not all, part of. So in the last few patches, every time there's a patch, almost every single dino stats gets changed. So expect that this time too. We don't have the stat changes at the moment yet. We'll have to wait for the game to release, and then we'll see what changes in in the game. I don't think they're gonna release the stats out before the update gets released. So that's that. So remember, when looking through this, none of the stats have been accounted for yet. So we'll really have to wait on that to determine how the meta goes, how the dinos go. And next part they call Raptor Duelists, because a lot of people were complaining about Raptors. But anyways, a few notable changes provide counters to the prevalent Raptor meta. Some creatures have been redesigned or tweaked accordingly. Note that Raptors are functionally unchanged. Other creatures are now better counted. So they didn't really nerf Raptors per se, although some Raptors have been nerfed, some not really. Some have been buffed actually. But they just added way more counters to Raptors, which I think is good. That is the good way to do this. Since Raptors, if you really nerf them, they will become very unusable. Back when Raptors were nerfed, they were extremely unusable. And now that they're just a bit better, it's good to keep them this way, and all we need is just more counters, especially at lower levels. Raptors at higher levels aren't a problem at all, just lower levels, they don't have access to that many good Raptor counters. The best you could get is a Stegosaurus, which is not a really strong dino. And then, example is the Hadrosaur family creatures gain Superiority Strike. So what this does is, 1 times damage, it slows dinos for 1 turn and also self-cleanses, so that takes off the pounce debuff and slows them, so the next turn they could go in for a huge damage, probably a kill, considering how low the HP of the Raptors are. So Raptors are still good. Raptors are still good by themselves, but now they have counters, which is their problem. So, yep, here they explain that. And Stegosaurid dinos and the new Brachiosaurid. So it looks like Brachia and Draft Titan are in their own line, so they're not in the paddle line. So the paddle line still doesn't have a legendary or epic. So yep, they have superiority strike too. Brachiosaurus and Draft Titan also have new abilities, Surprise Bellow, which we kind of knew about, but not on them, but about the ability. We'll go into that later. Sauropods, now they have Lockdown Strike, so people complain about Raptors Pounce and Swap. Now if you have Lockdown Strike, although I still wouldn't do that. To be honest, I still wouldn't Lockdown. Just like Pounce and Swap isn't that strong, isn't as strong as you think. So, well, if you do find a problem with that, you could do Lockdown Strike, I guess. So now we got the new counterattacks, which is the spikes that we've talked about before. So these dinos get it. Amorphocephalus, and Kytro, Gigaspike, Kentro, Notapatosaurus, and Trichosaurus. So this differentiates Gigaspike and Nodo with Stegodius, which is good. Makes them a bit better since their damage were on the lower side. Trico is a bit better, I guess, with this. And Kytro really needed this, that's for sure. Amorphocephalus, I'll reserve judgment on this. Kentro, it's sad that Warho didn't get it. Now Kentro might be better than Warho. We'll still have to look at the stats. Well, that's a shame. Now Decelerating Impact got buffed, so it's more like Thagomizer, 2 turns, 50%. But the cooldown is only 1 turn, so you could use it every other turn. So with Argentinosaurus, you could like cycle Rampage and Decelerating Impact. That's a lot of damage output with a high 40% crit. Or, of course, we don't know the stat changes yet, but just from the stats right now. So yeah, we don't know the stat change. So all the examples I'm gonna give it is just using the current stats. So that's a lot of damage. Remove positive effects now works on creatures that are immune. This is one change I don't really like. Null is strong already, let's be honest. Null is extremely strong, but now you can use it on immune. Oh well. We'll have to see in the later moveset changes. So yeah, you could remove Indominus's Cloak, and then okay. Dodge. Now there's a random chance to dodge. We don't know that chance yet, but we'll find out later. After the game releases or the update. Dodged. Okay, so the effect still applies, so it's kind of like a shield. I don't see a shield buff here, instant invincibility buff, so that's still a problem. Matchmaking duration, so they increased the time for matchmaking. Didn't say anything about bots, so we could still get bots, so that could still be a thing. We have arena battle rewards. So we got these changed. They change every time, so this one's expected to. It looks like the higher arenas are now better than the lower arenas. You still have the exclusives unchanged, so Irritator's still in Badlands. Stiggy's still in Arcadia. And you kind of really need Irritator now, just because of the moveset changes we'll see later. So, Jurassic Ruins has really good exclusive dinos, so get up to whatever this is, probably 3.5k, maybe even 4k, just because how good the rewards are. Tojang's okay, Sinoceratops and Baryonyx, this is kind of a big deal. And now this one I like a lot, because remember we keep on getting Baryonyx and in Sword of Marshes. So now they split these out. So, sorry, that was the first video. So they split these out so that these exclusives you get separate from your normal creature DNA. So you won't, well, you will still keep on getting a lot of Baryonyx Gen 2s, but you will also get other rares, other dinos, which is nice. And also large incubators will focus on on epic exclusives. So does that mean like every 8 hour from Nublar from SS Arcadia will be Stiggy Moloch? So you're like guaranteed Stiggy DNA? Maybe. Okay, now attributes update. This is like a huge list of attribute updates. So let's first go with Ankylosaurus, or whatever. I can't get this name right. So vulnerability strike becomes null strike. This is overall a positive, I'd say. It still has spikes too, so that spikes plus instant invincibility and instant cripple. That's a pretty good combo here. Carno, you got changes to vulnerability strike, short defense, cleansing impact. Cleansing impact is extremely strong move, so this one's a good one too. Dino Kairos, speed up strike, that's okay. I'm not gonna go over all of them. I'm just gonna go over some important ones, I guess, or at least I see right now that I might miss over a lot. So these aren't. Dimetrodon has a really good buff, so armor piercing strike becomes defense shattering strike. That one's good. Dioradosaur has distracting impact instead, so that's a little bit of a buff. It might be usable now. We'll still have to look at stats. So what else? Oh, Echo has a huge change. It is now a Raptor. Welcome to the Raptor family, Echo. It loses immune. It has pounce and cleansing impact now. This is probably one of the better Raptors, I'd say. So it becomes a better Raptor. Early Indom, overall this is a buff. It wasn't as good before. Now it has strike and run, so you could cloak, rampage, strike and run with its high speed, and then you could bring it back in. This is great. I like this change. Okay, not really, since I don't have early Indom. But anyways, Gorgosuchus, great buff, defense chatting rampage. Indominus Rex has a well-needed buff, I guess. It doesn't have... Well, it depends. Because what Exposed Weak Spot does with Indominus is, since Indominus' speed is low, so after it cloak and rampages someone, it usually dies. Or at most get only one extra hit on the next one, which Exposed Weak Spot helps a lot, helps the next dino coming in. But then you got armor piercing impact instead, which is direct damage. That's a lot more damage. Indominus Rex has okay damage. You know what? I call this overall more a slight nerf. How about that? Yeah. And Raptor got a nerf. Cloak now has evasive stance, so it's dodge 3 turns, so you get an extra turn of dodge, but you lose that you lose the damage multiplier on Cloak. I'd say this isn't the worst thing for Indoraptor. It has oh yeah, I forgot. Stats might change, but with like stats right now, it's okay. It's okay. It's not as broken as before, which is great. We did not need a extremely broken Rex everything dino in the game. It was fun for a while, but time to get real. Caprasuchus has a great buff. Now it has Ferocity Impact and Cleansing Impact. This is a great buff. Magna Pyrator has a huge buff. It's now has DSR and Null Impact. This is one of the largest, biggest buffs in this patch so far. Monostegotops, this is a really bad. This is kind of a nerf, so maybe just save for Monomimus or whatever that new hybrid is called instead. Monolophosaurus it's always distracting rampages, text error. Notapatosaurus, you got the spikes, and now you have vulnerable, so that's not bad. Paramoloch, rampage and run sounds incredible. You got instant charge, greater stunning strike. Paramoloch looks pretty good now. Now that it has a rampage move, they might nerf its attack stat a bit, and if they don't, this is gonna be a monster. Post-Metrodon. It's a bit better, but still. Ferocious Impact, I think, doesn't Pastasuchus already have that? I don't know. Parasaurus, whatever, still irrelevant. Well, never mind. Let's look at it. It might be good. Ferocity Impact. Oh, that's not bad. Lockdown Impact. Okay, this isn't horrible. Pyroraptor has a huge nerf. Second ability becomes Impact. This, assuming stats are the same, Charlie is just a direct upgrade of Pyroraptor now. So, for you people who leveled up Pyro instead of saving for Pyrotator, that's a sad day for you. Pyrotator becomes Distracting Rampage. That's a great move. You might want Pyrotator and Magna Pyrotator on your team, both. That's great. Rajasaurus is weird now. Rajakylosaurus loses exploit wound, which sucks a lot actually. To be honest, long protection is good. This is kind of bad. Well, actually, long protection. You know what? Rajakylosaurus from moveset. It now has a worse moveset. I'm sorry. It just has a worse moveset now. Sarcosuchus, whatever, Spinosaur. Spinos, this is where I got a bit disappointed. The Spinos are still bad. They still didn't fix their issue. Their issue was DOT isn't that good in this game. You get better DOTs, but overall, it's still not good. Well, we'll have to see what they do with their stats, or else I'm not liking this. Stegoceratops, third ability becomes Greater Stunning Strike. I thought it always was Greater Stunning Strike. Stegodeus has a massive buff. I don't know why. It was like one of the best dinos in the game, and it got a huge buff. Anyways, I as a Stegod user, I like this, but for the balance sake, probably not the best thing they could do. Suchomimus, yeah, still not as good. Sucutator has a better. This is a very interesting moveset. We'll have to see what they do with his stats. The thing about Sucutator was its stat was horrible. So let's Trago. One of my most favorite dinos to use. Has a great buff. It now has long invincibility, guys. Long invincibility. That's 2 turns of invincibility. This is great, but still Trago still has that problem with its lower damage stat, but it still has Rampage. They didn't change that. It has Superiority Strike now. Superiority Strike or whatever. Greater Stunning Strike still has that. I thought it always had that. Trichosaurus is a bit better. Well, actually, it's I don't know. I still wouldn't go for it just for the investment, and we'll have to see its stats. It's just defense, shattering, rampage is good, but who knows. Utahrinox has Pounce now, which is great. It's more of a Raptor, but Utah Sino has a huge nerf. Now it has Distracting Impact instead, and yeah, this is not good for Utah Sinoraptor. Good thing I didn't make it yet. So it's Accelerated Impact. Yeah, we knew that. Tweaked, increased damage, increased critical chance. Okay. So that's the visual thing. Yeah, this is good. One thing, Triostronix, I think, since it still has invincibility, depending on stats, this might be the Stegod counter now. Now it has DSR instead of, I think it was DSI before, or was it API? Well, anyways, Triostronix is looking very good with this moveset, I mean. Now we have, yeah, we went over these. And, that's all we have right now for the battle aspects of the game. We still don't have the stats. We'll talk about that more when the game comes out. And this update is pretty hype. I think a lot of people will like this so far. So we'll just have to wait for the final update. And any more following up news we might see later. So I'll see you guys next time. This is great news.